I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Corey, you shut the door. Okay. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
I have one correction, Mr. Chairman. Under Commissioners' comments and committee reports, the meeting is in Atchison, and if I stated Leavenworth, it was my mistake. That's the only thing that I've seen. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Jack, do you have anything?
Well, I move to accept the minutes as amended.
Here a second.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. Getting tongue-tied in my old age. Okay. Public comment. Commissioner comments and committee reports. Jack, do you have anything?
I don't.
Christmas party went very well. I think everybody had a good time, and another year going by.
Okay. I went to the YMCA grand opening last Wednesday. Was really impressed. I didn't have any preconceived, I guess, notions. I thought it was just going to be a ribbon cutting only, but the governor was there, quite a few notables were there. I was glad to represent the county. We were noted as being one of the contributors, and I guess I got to be on the photograph with the group, but it was nice to have our contribution recognized, and very good facility. Looks like a good asset to the community. Okay, with that's the only thing I have. Corey, have something for us?
Apologize for the radio up front on the ambulance today.
That's fine.
We got your report.
Yep. Does anybody need a hard copy of the report?
Sure.
Okay. Well, monthly report. The big thing I've got on my agenda. Staying the course, I guess, would be the way. Starting to see some patterns. Happy with the numbers. So, any questions or concerns on those?
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Because these numbers look terrific. But are there examples of things that get completely longer than they should?
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a way that you'd not just, would you report those, can you report those separately so they're not?
Yeah.
Because once in a while you hear about somebody's name.
Yeah, I can report them.
Didn't someone talk about last week, an ambulance taking 45 minutes?
Yeah, and that was investigated. It was actually 17 minutes.
Well, yeah, I understand,
Yeah.
but I mean.
But no, we can report anomalies. Fortunately, there aren't too many of them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So,
But
no,
yeah, the thing is, that's the ones I hear about.
of course.
Yeah,
I
don't hear
understand
about
that.
the good ones.
yeah, right. So.
No, it would be easy to report anomalies, and I do track anomalies like that. We do track that when I see something way out of whack. We go talk to the crews.
If
Generally
there's a health
speaking, there's a
crisis,
reason.
17 minutes seems like enough.
It does. It absolutely does. I would never argue that your sense of time is altered when there's an emergency or somebody's suffering. It absolutely does.
Yeah, and you may in future, if you have a call that you feel it's going to be in question, because we hear about it right away. Oh, you might just send an email out to generic thing. It's like, there is this call. You know, I don't need to know specifics, but if it was just a problem that we're going to hear about, it's kind of nice to go into a situation where constituents are asking you about it, say, hey, we're on top of it, it's being looked at, you know, that kind of thing. So,
Sure.
If that's not a
Was it the
problem.
fact that there was an ambulance at her, or one had left and had to go to another scene? Because I thought for sporting activities we had.
No, we do not typically do standbys for basketball events.
Football, yes.
Football, yes. Occasionally soccer, especially for the college. But no, typically for a basketball event, no, there would not be a standby. Typically, a basketball event doesn't create the severity of injuries that we may be talking about either. So. What about breaking our privacy policies in open meeting, trying to understand what you're talking about.
Everything looks good. Anything else?
I don't have anything else. I'm going to stick around for Seth because some of what he has, I think, involves my department. So.
I thought you had a pretty good turnout at Christmas party. That's a good sign. That means they're happy.
Yeah, I think we had 9 employees and 7 plus ones. So yeah, I was happy to see that. And granted, some of them were the on-duty crew. Yeah. But no, I think we had a good turnout. One had to miss because of another family event, so we would have had more. But, no, very happy with the turnout.
I should just stay in the hot seat and we'll just bring Seth on up.
Sure.
I know we can't open him quite yet. Yeah, I think so. I've already contacted Seth about it too. So. Do we have to wait till exactly 1:15?
Yes, you should.
Okay. Can I address this part of it first?
Yes, you may.
This would be a good time to clear it up. And I did call Seth over the noon hour to let him know that I received I guess you'd say an updated fuel bid from Jackson Farmers this morning. I didn't know whether I could accept it, so I brought it in. I made notations and I asked legal counsel if we could accept it. And he said that we are perfectly able to waive any, if that's the correct wording, irregularities. It was a technicality that something didn't get erased off of it. They didn't, to my knowledge, didn't change the bid. Only as the bid was presented, it contained taxes that wasn't supposed to be included. So with that, I will hand it to Seth, and at the opening he can. I did tell him to bring the original bid if there was any questions between the two. So I would have wanted to be perfectly above board on how things are presented.
You may want to also make clear that we don't know what the other bids are, so there's no.
That is sealed. I did not. I wrote on the outside of it just a couple notations for me to tell the legal counsel and the other commissioners. I have no idea what's in it, and nothing was indicated to me other than the taxes were included that were not supposed to be. Well, this might be a good time before we've got 5 minutes here. How is this going to work, or review us how if you're getting fuel through there, you're going to get cards made or keys?
What we do is basically I just gave the set of keys.
Okay.
They'll come in at whatever time they need it, open the gate, come in, they reset the pump, they pump, and he has a process where they're just going to fill out how many gallons, what unit. And every month, I think he's going to ship me over that. We'll input it into our system so we can track the fuel still and work that way out. So,
in addition to tracking the fuel for him, so he knows how much we're using out of there, I still track the fuel mileage on each unit to make sure we don't have a problem or some type of anomaly that we need to fix with fuel usage. So I'll have to start combining. We have to keep the WEX cards. There's going to be transport sometimes to Wichita, Omaha. They'll need to get fuel on them. So we're going to keep the WEX cards. So I'll have to start compiling that information from 2 sources, but it shouldn't be a big deal. So, but there'll be a fuel log in every emergency vehicle, and they'll pull it out. So.
Do you fuel at the Jackson Farmers at Effingham too? Or,
yes.
Well, of course, that
we try to spread it around with the fuel cards. The crews bounce around to the different locations.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say we get the local bid, wins the bid. Wouldn't you get Cartro cards from their pump, or are you still going to do like pull it out of your tank? And we don't know what the bids are.
So now are you saying basically if Jackson Farmers win, we pull off their tank? That does not come off this. Everything has to come out of our tank to be from their price on these bids.
Okay. Didn't we get bid from Gasoline Alley?
Yes.
Well, what I'm saying
the consumer has to deliver to our site for this bid price.
Why wouldn't we just pull fuel?
Because that'd have to be tracked separately.
Well, they keep track of books. You'd have your Cartro. It's however you want.
We could
it'd be a lot less paperwork for you guys.
Felt like last time we tried that or mentioned that, they said they couldn't do that. It had to be whatever was delivered to site is what your contract is, not what was pumped from their station. And we can check and
Now,
verify that.
I may be, yeah, we can absolutely check on that, but I may be wrong on this, so if somebody knows different, but I think in the hospital days when we used a Petrol, we paid pump price, we just had access to the pumps. So, I don't know how they would identify that we're on a contract price versus what that pump actually is set at. And that may be the rub in it, where we'd have a contract price lower than what the pump actually was set to pump at. And they may not want to do the math or pay us back on that. Does that sound wrong? Somebody might correct me, but
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the way I understood it, is that you're getting a tank wagon price, not a at the pump price. So,
and they may be able to do that, but they would have to do the math on the back end and refund us something to match that contract price if the pump price was over the contract
Let's go off the
price.
subject of it, but I remember in my younger years where you could buy fuel cheaper off the tank than you could in town, and then it got to be where you could about the same price. So most farmers did away with their tanks.
And it just varies on the economy at that time. So, very likely these might be good now, but here in 6 months, pump price could be cheaper. I mean, that's
There is
hard to
some
predict.
risk.
But then again, those prices might be set and fuel prices go up $2 a gallon. So,
Yeah, make them out way ahead.
with this world economy the way it is, and all the volatile Rocket Man things going on, and all of
One
that,
terrorist attack and one hurricane, and we doubled fuel prices.
Yeah, we've been lucky that the hurricanes didn't hurt more, especially in Houston, the infrastructure. It did some. It was temporary delays, but not permanent. So, Pat should be back in a minute. Got something to talk about for a minute, and we'll get
I had
started.
one of our current employees about being ex. He had a hard decision to make. He sat there and talked a long time to me. I've known the kid for a long time. He said, I just had to do it for the money because getting married and the kids. And
that's what we're running into and especially Bracken opening back up and expanding again. And if anything happens, a pipeline opens back up, we're probably going to struggle for a while because a lot of those guys are going to go back to their current positions or try to get back on where that money is more supporting, I guess. So it could be, pipeline opens back up, we're probably going to lose, let's say, about half of our employees.
We're in the same boat on the EMS side for a little bit different reason. There's a paramedic shortage because hospitals are now employing paramedics as technicians in ERs, and they pay better than ambulance services. And so they can leave their ambulance service jobs and make more in a controlled, stable, air-conditioned environment. So we're going to see the same thing on our department, struggling to maintain and recruit.
Joe Hermick still coming? Is he still? Would you give him this? I received. My name was drawn the second time. I didn't feel right. I just wanted to have that from the Christmas party. I'm not sure he gets that.
I thought the very same thing. There was people that wasn't available to be there. They should have had the people's names that wasn't there, and then draw after everybody won something, and then give the overflow to the ones that wasn't able to make it.
That's something to be discussed for next year. That's just what we've
That's the same thing I thought.
year, but
That's what I thought.
After I took the second one, I felt uncomfortable, and I thought, well, in the years past, I have donated one or two to someone, and I thought of him, and I just wanted to check.
I'll make sure you receive that. You'll appreciate that.
Okay. Got a bid?
Okay.
Good with me?
We'll start with the Jackson Farmers updated bid. Do you want me to go ahead and open their second bid? Okay. Make sure I keep that one separate.
Okay, I'll put it by me.
Okay. So their current.
I would just read the current one.
Okay.
Forget the old one.
Their current bid for clear diesel fuel is $2.49 a gallon. Their off-road fuel is $2.24 per gallon. And their unleaded gasoline is $2.36 per gallon. And then if you want to go ahead and put the winter blend down, they didn't actually build the way I wanted it, but it will be $261 for the clear diesel winter blend, and $235 for the off-road winter blend. I guess they're okay. Well, actually raised their price on their new bid compared to the old bid.
Hmm?
Yeah. $1.99 for their dyed fuel, and on their bid they submitted to you was $2.24.
I think you got them reversed.
That's the one I opened up. Paid for you.
Mhm.
That's the one
Yep.
I opened up unless over here that I brought.
Yeah, so it's given to Eric.
So
Can't be right. Right.
all right, this one will be from Sealant Oil. Okay. For clear fuel, diesel fuel. $2.28 per gallon. Money there.
228.64 was that?
I guess that's how you read it. And their winter blend for clear will be 0.0710 per gallon added on.
That figure
This
again?
is the way we want it.
Yeah.
Their figure added on. So 0.0710 would be their winter blend.
7 cents a gallon there.
Correct.
Yeah, 7 cents in the
Yeah.
bin.
So it would be $2.35, correct?
See, their dyed fuel price is $2.01 right there. And same thing on their winter blend.
208.
201.
0.07.
Off-road was 201?
201 is offered.
And then the winners.
Oh, 208 was on the, okay.
And then your unleaded gasoline price was $2.06.39. I'll present these to you all.
You should read that out and see the other Jackson.
Okay. The Jackson Farmer is thrown out bid, what you call it,
Yes,
or
the first original.
the original bid was clear diesel at $2.49 per gallon. The winter blend for clear fuel is $2.61 per gallon. Their dyed fuel is $1.99 per gallon. Their winter blend would have been $2.11 per gallon, and their unleaded fuel would have been $2.36 per gallon.
So the dyed fuel was the only.
The dyed fuel was the only thing they had a mistake on. So
There was only one change between, on them, between,
The big change was off-road diesel from $2.42 to $1.91.
Your blend had a difference too.
Wow. There's not that much taxes.
Both
we
dyed.
didn't went the other
yeah,
way.
both were on the dyed fuel. So I will. Yes, I went through this.
Consumer was quite a bit cheaper.
33.9. So about where it's at, maybe a little lower.
Here might be 2 cents higher. 2.35. Consumer bid on clear diesel.
The
What's the unleaded?
Unleaded was 2.06.
yeah, that'd be 0.9 cents lower.
Helps.
Can I see that one, please?
This is a question I asked. Oh, you said they couldn't. You know, I would ask that question. Do they honor this contract price at their contract? Because that would simplify things a lot.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. They could go anytime. Instead of trying to open my gate up and
Force it and say no.
we'll check with them.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I'm not saying that's who we're going with, but they're quite a bit cheaper.
How many gallons? Well, they deliver 10,000 gallons there. They have a labor of one person. they're pumping gas all day. They got labor roll.
Yeah, if you go to car troll, they don't come out. You put your troll in, you put your car in, you fill up, and they keep track of it.
Yeah.
They have nobody.
And I have. He was wanting to know quantities on each.
How many gallons on that says?
Oh, purchase price 30,000 gallons clear diesel fuel, 25,000 gallons of dyed, and unleaded is 7,700.
For road and bridge.
Oh, road and bridge, and for EMS 12,000 gallons.
And in the past, they'd always honored us if we would run short. They'd honor that price.
We'll check. I highly doubt we run short. We have a surplus this year, so it'll roll into next year. I believe that's how the contract reads.
Now, how's this pan out from what you budgeted? Quite a bit cheaper, isn't it?
I'd have to look back at the numbers. I'd have to
I
add
thought
them
you
up
had
with
diesel like 246 or 257. That's all right.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm sure we were up there. 'Cause I believe I put like 10 cents more than what the market value is at that time. And normally that's.
I would like a copy of both of these, so if there's any discrepancy, if they ask me about them. But I did notice the updated version. There is I guess the copier put this on here this morning, so that had to have been produced this morning. So we are clear that was the updated version, December 12th, 2017 at 8:19 p.m. and he saw me about 8:30. So,
yeah.
Just so that's clear. Did you see any of these?
Thank you. I was gonna ask.
Well, what do we think?
I think you got to go with the lower price.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of difference. They've been fairly competitive in the past, but this year it's totally different.
Yeah, it's been back and forth. We had consumer when I first started, Jackson Farmers for 17. And so it's.
Actually, I'd like a copy of all three,
Yeah,
so that way.
Would you all three like copies of it? Fine. I can make copies before I leave.
Okay.
I would bring that up about the car trail book, because that was 65 books.
So we gonna vote on this today? Well, I move that we accept the bid from Consumer Oil
I'll second
as
it,
a lower
Chairman.
bid.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the fuel bid for Consumer Oil. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
See, and I brought this up to the sheriff before. I think there's some big savings to be made over there, but he's not willing to. I don't know why, but it makes no sense to me.
Well, it's possible it could go down. Sometimes it wouldn't be a savings, but it's a stable. We know where we're at. I mean, once you get that bid in, at least for the year, we're going to have
Well, now,
a stable fuel price.
I have contracted some fuel, and the price goes down. You have that option to buy at a lower rate, and then your contract, you can let it roll over.
If it does drop tremendously, we'll definitely investigate that.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy fuel for what we can go to the pump. I'll start taking my trips to the pump with the Lex cards then. So, but I think that's going to be pretty hard to beat there on the market. Those prices look pretty good. I haven't seen them that low. And all the time.
That's going to be north of 3,300 last time budgeted on my department.
On another different note, I noticed we had a bunch of rock bills from Hands. Why don't we pull some of our credit off of that?
That's what I actually just spoke with Emily, and I told her to get in contact with Hams and make sure our credit can start being pulled off these tickets. We're not paying any more tickets on that until the remainder of the year.
We might well use it up. I mean,
I know it's been rolling over year after year.
I bet you
Let's just spend that this year and get that taken care of and wiped out zero for the first year, and we'll continue each year to try to expend that out.
good deal. Did you notice that, or did you have a chance to look at that?
I haven't looked through this, but there was a bunch last week. There was.
I didn't know.
I don't know if it was. There was rock bills, but I don't know.
I think those were all certified or Gary's
Yeah, Gary Service.
Yeah, we did miss there down there. So.
Okay.
If you guys have time, I'd like to open these, I guess, culvert type bids. They're not really, they're just prices they all sent to me. If we could do that
I
today.
think we
Got time.
This would be for next year.
Yep.
Thanks, Corey.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Most of them carry sealed envelopes, so I just figured we'd keep them like that. What this is basically our restocking for the next season of culverts. We are changing to a cheaper culvert, but same quality. This is going to be an aluminized culvert with spiral instead of an aluminum with the riveted. Really won't know the price difference until we look at them, but when I've talked to other counties about it, they said it's the way to go. You'll save, $50 to $100 per culvert on some of these. So, and this was what Jefferson County does. They take a mass quantity and they first of the year is what they purchase, and then they're done for the year unless they have some emergency come up. So,
You got your money tied up, but if you get a good enough price.
correct. And I'm sure most of these they won't all come on one shipment. So what they normally do is they send one shipment, they send the payment with that. So these will probably be broke out.
They'll
for the
be
next
stored
couple
in a secure facility.
our FEM transfer station, which it's not ideal to have them out there because we have no way to monitor them, and a lot of people know where that gate key is. A lot of townships already know where it's at, but more times than not, they're pretty good about calling me if they're going to take it. That's why I'd like to bring it all into one facility. We can monitor them, we can inventory them. We inventory them monthly.
It's in a very visible area out there, and I went by and well, yesterday I seen. I think they were loading some riprap or something back there, and of course I do the crane neck thing. It's like, what's going on? So it'd be kind of hard. You'd have to go in the middle of the night almost and try to pull something out of there.
Is there any way we could put a chain around them and lock them and then give somebody a key? Or?
No,
not individually. Now the gate, you would have to do something different at the gate.
We haven't run into any problems lately since I've been here, but
the times are getting tougher. So.
I understand that. And it is kind of hard. They can get off with the smaller culverts or
without having to have a loader or something.
Correct, but some of these you got to have a pretty good sized trailer to get these on. But I understand that, and we've had some issues out there because we have to, I guess, typically leave the gate shut. Even if we're there and behind the cedar trees, and that's been a pain with the guys trying to hold dirt out of there because they have 3 or 4 dump trucks coming in and out, and we're supposed to technically have the gate shut. So,
or
somebody
there'd be enough
sitting
traffic,
there.
you'd have to have somebody setting that.
Correct. And so
because that would be a violation from KDHE on the landfill.
I try to have my loader guy, if he's not loading, sitting back watching. I just can't post a guy sitting at the gate the whole time.
I understand. You do what you can do.
Yeah, so. Okay, so we got 3. I did speak with Marlatt. They were not interested in putting a price in. They said, if you're already buying direct, there's no point of us being the middleman. So I did speak with K.S.A. about that.
Why does one of them complain to me every time I run into it?
I'm not really sure. So, first one we'll look at is J&J Drainage. They're out of Atchison, Kansas. These are going to be it's 12-inch all the way to 48-inch. In sections band, so they're going to be very hard to read. I'm just going to open them all, and I'll have to evaluate them into next week.
They both bid the same amount of tubes, same length.
Same. I'll hand these around. You'll see everything is presented, and then they have a total bid at the bottom. So. Okay. So I guess we want to just look at it as a total bid.
Yeah.
Probably a lot easier to understand that way. I have Wilburn sales at a total of $112,396.81. I have metal culverts at Jefferson City, Missouri, $125,893.78. And then I have J&J Drainage at Hutchinson for $116,748.30.
Are these delivered prices?
Yes, delivered prices to our facilities. Stapler by chance.
Right here. The 112 is the cheapest.
That'd be Wilburn Sales.
I thought that was J&J.
J&J was 116.
14.
I'll put these in order. And the manufacturers are on the back page. You can see these.
Same gauge, same length, same
As you'll see on
diameter.
there, it shows the diameter, the length, the gauge, and on the top it specifies the aluminized AASHTO spec and all it. So everything exactly.
If
So
we
You don't need a PO to actually purchase
correct.
this.
I would like to review these for a week. Come back next week.
That's what I was going to say.
I want to present these this
Have you got quotes from that lower price company before?
Wellburn Sales has been currently, we've bid most of our large culverts out with them, and metal culverts. They've been pretty competitive. That 120 inch we just purchased was from Wellburn Sales. The aluminum box structure from 210 was from Wellburn Sales. Metal culverts is who we've used in the past for the aluminum. And J&J is actually who is the main manufacturer, I believe, for the end sections. So some of these companies actually purchased them from J&J. So they're all pretty good companies. Never had issues with any of them. No complaints from any other counties on them. So they're all held to the standards. I guess you could say. They all make state spec culverts.
Okay, have you got any fluff in here? I mean, have you got any extras or just what you got planned here?
It's what I took basically the last 2 years, what we utilized on our roads, and that's what I put back because that's what we have taken out and replaced.
Kind of a general stock.
Yes. I can't guarantee, there's townships that purchase these from us, so it fluctuates. But for any job that we have specified, I will not sell those. Those are what I have specified for us, and if we're out, we're out. We won't sell to the township.
Is the bid opening next week for the replacement of the installation of the one on the county line? Correct. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Just double check.
So those are a little higher than what I had budgeted for next year. I actually had budgeted $100,000 for culverts. It's a little higher than I thought, but
Well, if we would start working on that 286 road and all the culverts that we need there, you're probably going to
that
use.
would like
Now, you're going to have to add to that.
we'd have to add.
Well, I know, but I mean, we're going to have to start looking at it like that. We're going to have to start working on those.
Like a big
And-
project, go out there and list all those tubes and
You're talking what 36.
34.
Well, if we do the entire stretch, yes. I think from here to Lancaster was 36 of them. And what we'll do with that bid, because we'll have to contract most of that
Some
out.
of those are blocks, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if we contract that out, we'll ask the contractor to give a price for the culverts purchased through them, and then we'll see if we can compete with that price, and county will stock or furnish the material if it's cheaper than what the contractor can.
Have you priced like prefab concrete structures, or are they quite a bit higher?
Well, we've looked at it for bridge structures. These are the larger size ones that we've looked at. I've actually looked at the smaller size where the 4x4 boxes are in. I've never looked into those at all.
I think you were talking about circle concrete.
No, box. Well, I mean, if
It's the same concept.
Trouble with those,
They
come
separate.
apart. They come apart.
Yeah.
I mean,
If they had
they're still doing them these days. There's newer technologies with them, but everyone I found now, they're just separating the middle of the road, and that's where you get your sink leak. So I'd prefer this just because they won't separate until it rusts, and these should have a 60 to 100 year lifespan, so I'll be long gone by then. Hate to leave it for the next guy, but that's what these things are life expectancy. So if the galvanized, I'd still be here the next time we'd have to replace them. So
there's just a constituent letter if you want to read it. You don't need to comment on it. Just
okay, I'll look at that.
well, you might read it while you're here, and then I'll put it back in.
I thought Becky was going to be back up 1:30.
Two.
Oh,
Change that.
that's right. You're right.
We've got plenty to do.
Okay. We'll do that now for your
Everything look all right to you?
Except we have a copy of that as well.
So I will come back next week with a PO, or we'll discuss. I'll bring up work session. We'll discuss see where we're at, and then if we decide on one, I'll bring a PO up in the afternoon session next week.
Okay.
That's all I have. Unless you all have anything for me.
We don't have the money. Did you see that last pickup Kansas has? It's a nice truck.
I wasn't even going to try. I wanted to, but I figured we don't have the money for it. But it is a very
You
nice
see it?
pickup.
Yeah. Very nice.
With a 24,000.
It's it didn't have very miles. I think it was 24,000. It's probably a 50,000 truck.
It's probably sold by now.
Oh, I'm sure.
They usually don't last long. Yeah, it was a very nice truck.
Okay.
Alrighty, thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, you might hand the stapler back.
You get that letter back?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Copy.
That was number there.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got several housekeeping things to do here. We talked about some of this in a morning session, but I think we need to vote on it. One is to continue our membership in Chamber of Commerce, the amount of $225. Do I hear a motion?
I so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass 3-0. Excuse me. I'll wait until later to address the K.S.A. DC. Yes, thank you.
She looks like
No, thank you.
Okay, Pat, on the green property disaster relief, can we do anything now? Do we need to prove that now?
Can or you? Yes, you can.
Mr. Chairman, I think it'd be appropriate if we could have Melissa Crane explain on the live camera how we come up with a solution, because this will be setting precedent
Okay.
if she is available.
Do we need an application? Does that need to be, or is there anything that needs to be done this week? Should we do it next week?
Well, taxes is due on the 20th.
So that's not giving them,
Probably should do it this week.
okay, well,
Is Melissa around today?
She was earlier, but she's not.
She probably didn't go out dressed like she was.
We want to see her pretty sweater on
Yeah.
camera. That way, to my eyes, she can explain it on camera, and then if people see it, they'll know how we come about it. We just didn't pick it up. And then that'll be kind of a policy set.
okay. Well, she's unknown on that. We have to decide today on the K.S.A. contribution and rate stabilization program. Michelle had told us that they've got the program that we get a $12,560 credit, which can come off the first year of a 3-year deal that when we sign up. She says they do not offer a year-to-year contract. Basically, that we agree to this, and it locks in the maximum rate increase for the subsequent 2 years, or a total over the 3 years, and we do get that fairly large credit. We have to decide this today. It was due, weeks ago, and matter of fact, she did relay to you that we have to get it signed and emailed in today, correct?
Yes, she would prefer it because he extended the deadline until today because, as she put in her note, that it was kind of her fault. It kind of got put on the back burner because of the election and tax statements trying to go out.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to accept the K.S.A. 3-year stabilization program as laid out in their document.
I second that, Mr. Chairman.
I concur. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.
Oh, yeah, date of the 8th, I think she said.
Date it the 8th. Let's see.
If it needed a date.
Okay, 8th day. December. Okay, I think it's I'm gonna go through these once more, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay.
I'll keep that out of the folder, put it in the folder.
I can put it in mine. Thank you.
Okay, then we've got a application for League of Municipalities for membership. We did not do it in 2017. I kind of think it's a
More city.
Hmm?
It's more city oriented.
this is city oriented, and I think it is basically a mirror image of the K.A.C., which we're doing for the county.
I think there's about 40 counties that belong. The only thing that I would say is that there is some legal assistance in regard to the League of Municipalities. If it's something that would save us money in legal costs, and I don't know if Pat thinks that way or not.
I don't know what's available there, so I couldn't say.
Yeah. The city attorney might be able to tell you. And maybe it's, again, that's the thing I know that is a selling point. But it may be available in the Kansas Association of Counties also.
It'd be a total of $930.18. I would probably view it as duplication with K.A.C., and I would probably choose not to do it again.
I would agree with
Okay.
that, Mr. Chairman.
Let's push. Let's pass. Let's pass.
We better do it better. Like, I make a motion that we do not join the League of Municipalities.
Okay. Well, I will second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Not that if we do hear something positive, we can
They'll
do it
take your
next
money.
year.
They'll take your money later in the year.
Mhm. Okay. We got something from United Way. I have not had time to read it. Oh, this is the program that we had. It was available last year, and that is we had a copy of this form scanned, and Jamie put it with all the payroll stubs, so people that are employees that chose to could donate to the United Way. So I guess this is only asking us for permission.
Does anybody get a pay stub?
Well, electronic.
Yeah, electronic. Emails. Yeah, we get emailed.
I see the electronic one. I mean, I just don't remember if I ever looked at it other than once.
This came about last year. I think it was the first year we proposed this one.
Yeah, and there, it is just a permission.
I let Jamie handle it.
Yeah, let's table it till Jamie gets back. We have time.
Well, I'm not for sure. I think they maybe wanted it at the beginning of the year for. we can do that. Either that, or I will try to contact Jamie about it this week, see what she thinks, and if she's fine with it, we can pass it next week.
That's what I'll do.
Okay, then we've got the chamber banquet is coming up. We usually sponsor 2 tables. The last 2 years, we've sponsored 2 tables, and it was $1,000 per year.
Per table?
No, per year. That was $500 a table.
Usually the
Good total.
commissioners go, and then their spouses, or friends, and then we put it out to them boys to do the table.
Okay, let's see, 15,000. That would be the editor's table, as they call it, which includes 8 prime seating tickets, 8 table gifts, and company signage. Is there any discussion, or you want to continue that, or do we want
We've
to?
been doing it for 5 years, I know. So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion. We sponsor 2
Do we need
tables.
2 tables?
I was going to say that would be the only thing. Do we want to reduce?
We filled them up every time. But
Okay.
Okay, the motion is that
don't you think we'll get enough to fill them every time?
we've always gotten.
Well, there's
full.
2, 4, 5, so there's 1 table just about. You and your wife, there's 7. So we don't need 9 other people. I would think we could find 9 other people.
Okay, does the motion still stand?
Yes.
For 2 tables.
Yes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass 3-0.
You may give that card so you can put something out, and I don't know if you want to specify who to ask first, or just put it out there. Well, first, you committing to
That's what date?
January the 11th.
Get us later, 27th.
Maybe 11th.
January 27th.
Okay. Committed to.
At 6 p.m.
I can commit to.
Well, we got time to.
Yeah, we got lots of time.
We got lots of time. I don't see no problem with them 2 tables. And then bring it up to Mason, or you want to go through the rest of yours first?
About done. I think we'll
Okay.
be. I want to make a notation here. Okay. I know we talked about it this morning. You want to come on up, Melissa?
I thought it'd be better if you were up there on live camera explaining the situation
Okay.
about the property rebate and how you come to the price that you did.
Okay. The application that you all received was for an abatement of the 2017 taxes, or a portion of the 2017 taxes, due to the fact that the property at, what was it, 424 North 2nd Street was substantially destroyed by fire shortly after our January 1 valuation date. So I went out to look at the property, which we would have to do anyway because the condition of the property has changed significantly since our January 1 valuation date of last year. So for our valuation date that's upcoming this January 1, we needed to view the property, and the structure It's brick and capable of renovation. So I determined that the range of value for the structure would be in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. We haven't established our models and our depreciation and our land values for 2018 yet, but I feel pretty confident that a value of $17,500 is pretty good for the structure, even after the fire damage. So the abatement that we talked about earlier would be for the 2017 value of the structure minus the remaining $17,500 value, estimated value of the structure. And that's what we came up with.
Plus the value of the land, that wouldn't be.
Plus the value of the land, which is not eligible for an abatement.
Mhm.
Right.
So the correct terminology would be we approved to abate all but $17,500 of the property, the improvements on the property.
Yeah, I guess the abatement is actually for tax because my valuation date is January 1 and my valuation doesn't change. What really changes is whether or not you're going to tax them. So the proper wording is a calculation of what that tax dollar amount would be, and that's what you would abate. So if you give me a calculator, I'll do that math for you real quick.
Sorry.
So, and I don't have a mill levy sheet for 2017, a mill levy sheet to calculate actual taxes. I have one downstairs. But, the,
17, no. 18.
No, she wants 17.
I want 2017 mill
Would
levies.
it be in here?
Probably not.
I don't know. I have it downstairs if I need to do that, but
I don't know if it's
65,000.
maybe necessary that we.
Well, I was going to get you a dollar amount that you needed to abate. 65,820 is the 2017 full value. Let's see. Minus 17.5 for the remaining value of the improvement, minus 29.70 for the land. So the amount of taxes would be for a value of $45,350. Which is assessed at 11.5%. Assessment of 5,215.25, and that taken times the mill levy for this is in 001, and the mill levy is 0.170 pretty much.
That should be in the back of that. I'm sure that's very back page. Isn't it? Or right?
Yeah, that looks like it. 001 is 170,257. That's 2016 mill levy.
Oh, that's 16. That's in 17. Maybe 18. So maybe it would have the.
They're real similar to one another for 001.
It's not the same thing.
Not here, maybe down the line.
Looks like the new book's got it in.
It's only going to be a matter of cents here because I know it's
You're
0.17 now,
fine.
right?
We don't have to have it down. It's going to give us an approximate figure.
Times 0.170 equals 886.59. Now there is that thing they do over there in the treasurers with this. Is it school deduction?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the actual tax statements look like. You know what I'm talking about, Pat?
Yeah, I think it's a better idea to just simply do the value and let the clerk and treasurer do their calculation.
Yeah, because I really do values.
Right.
Well, I would make a motion that we abate the difference between the January 1st, 2017 value and an estimated value at the end of 2017 of $17,500 for the property at
It's 424 North
424 North 2nd Street, Atchison, Kansas.
That sounds good.
That's kind of what I was, just to get the general.
Do we need to add, for 1 year so that we'll get it fixed up and just doesn't sit there and
Yeah. For this tax year. Yeah.
It's for 2017 because the 2017 tax statement represents a full value before the fire and it burned down shortly after that. So,
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds good. So it's been moved. Did I hear a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
thank you.
I'd like to know how come you did what you were supposed to do and he backed out and didn't wear his sweater.
My sweater's in my truck.
He brought his
The
sweater.
contest is today.
He
not
thought
on the way
it
home.
He thought it was not professional to wear his ugly sweater to a commission meeting.
Maybe it's unprofessional not to do as the office is wanting him to do.
You can look
Whatever his boss will approve.
Hey. Here's something about lipstick on a pig. What can I say?
Okay. The city's supposed to be here, and we'll talk about the K.S.A. afterwards. So, I think
We already talked about it.
If you want to come out and discuss some more.
well, did we talked about it this morning, but did we want to see what they have here during?
I don't think these have to do with each other.
Okay. Well,
I took it that they did. I may be wrong. I don't know.
we did mention it in work session this morning, so they're probably going to be here shortly. We could always do it afterwards.
We got
That way.
county councilor update. That would take.
Yeah. Pat, do you have something for us?
Yeah, couple of, you know, with them all put them in. Where's the sign up sheet? Oh, you got it right there. First, here they are. City.
Yeah.
I didn't put Justin in there. I'm not sure whether he's going to be here, so it's just a blank.
Who's ready?
How long do you think? Yeah.
30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Okay, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 2:03 p.m. The subject to be discussed during the session is the potential relocation of a business into Atchison County. The statutory justification for the closed session is confidential data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B4. Conducting the discussion in open session would negatively impact the financial affairs of that business or compromise trade secrets of the business. The board will come out of executive session at 2:33 p.m. in the commission room, first floor courthouse, and those present will be county commissioners, Becky Berger, Justin Prougeot, County Councilor Pat Anderson.
I'll second.
I made the motion. So
I'll second it.
it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.
Tonight.
It's on.
Do you have a menorah for that?
No.
Actually, I do have a menorah, but I don't know where it is.
Thank you.
Pick it up to borrow.
You know, one time I had half a truckload of Hanukkah paper here at Atchison.
I don't doubt that at all. You've had some interesting things.
We haven't addressed the K.S.A, which the city indicated this morning that they were interested in continuing, and that is $7,500 for the year.
Well, I moved that we pay the subscription to the KDAC.
K.S.A.
KCAD.
Well, just
Where's that money gonna come out of county general?
wasn't that budgeted?
I think
Didn't
we
do
have
that?
budgeted.
We've been paying that, so
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.
I'm so happy now. I'd rather vote for anything. That's good news.
Okay. We have many of these. Why don't I divide them in a couple of different ones? You guys can start on those. Let me go through my pile of papers.
We got so many of these to do.
Getting ready for the first of the year.
I think these are pretty good. These would be Eric's too.
I think we need to have another 15, 20 minute executive session on attorney-client.
I'm gonna be back in a minute.
I think we need the second one. That's clerk.
Oh,
So go, it's all right, but just from now
okay.
on, I'll just yours are just starting to come through here. I think you did on some of them.
They bring the calendar back over.
Calendar. Oh. There's a slug of them.
Good work, Jack.
Yeah, those are them. How do you get a special assessment when you're living in an apartment? That's not the sort of property.
While signing.
Yeah, I'm on all of those.
Here's like a cookie.
That's better.
You didn't get it all. You got some of this. Oh,
Job's not done till the paperwork's done, as they say.
Whatever.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 2:46 p.m. for consultation with attorney for the public body, which would be privileged to the attorney-client relationship as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319, parentheses B, parentheses 2, and that purpose of closed session is to protect confidentiality of discussion and the board, and that the board come out of the executive session at 3:05 p.m. at the Commission floor, first floor courthouse. Those present will be the three commissioners and County Councilor Pat Henderson. I make that motion.
I second it, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded to go in executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. We now go into executive session.
There it is.
But he's gone, so how well are we going to do?
Well, we can ad lib for a minute. Pat was going to have some county councilor updates for us. He's absent for a minute or two. Is there any other observations from the commissioners?
It looks like we need some rain. I don't think it's under our control.
Oh,
Yeah,
yesterday was
last night at the house.
no.
Very few, but we had a few.
Wow.
But there's no rain on this site.
I thought sure the way the wind's been blowing, it'd blow up.
It was all cloudy last night.
It's all going down to Houston and
Were we
down
8
to
or
south.
9 inches behind last year?
It's very dry. They red flag warning. Did you guys get the calls from?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, those red flag warnings go off. I don't know if I'm signed up for everything imaginable, but I know about it pretty quick.
Yeah.
My home phone rings, my cell phone rings.
Yeah. Some people get annoyed. Some people like to get them.
I did go to the Project Atchison meeting last Wednesday night also. I could have had that in my update. Dr. Epley explained star bonds, which I had never been present at any of the meetings he had, so it was very informative. And then they had the guy that spoke. He's doing a documentary on Amelia Earhart, and it's more, I mean, he's going and looking up anybody that's alive that knows anything about her, and kind of more personal, in-depth, her, not just her flight, you know, what was famous, but her in-depth on her background and how she was, you know, her friends and things like that. So some of that's going to be podcasts, I believe, and then it's going to be in a series, and I don't have all that information when that's going to be broadcast. So
I need to get to one of their meetings.
I try to attend. It's been a couple months since I've been there. It's a way for me. I don't have as many in Atchison constituents. It's a way for me to know what's kind of percolating and carrying on down here. It's people that show up, or they're wanting to know stuff, and sometimes I get asked. I was answered some questions about the tax sale. That is another thing I didn't have it down on my list. Okay, we were talking last week about how the special assessments were going against the properties. How wouldn't it improve things if we could change the date of the sale to like December or January, so we wouldn't have that mowing season? And all those assessments are almost all lawn mowing. I don't know of any other thing. So if we had it in that session when the time of the year, the tax sale,
Well, we had it in March.
no, we had it in May.
May.
And
They
so
still
it was-
couldn't have had that much mowing.
there was the month of April, and then those people didn't mow their own yard because they were told not to do anything until they received the deed. So there was 60 days after the sale. So there was 3 months of mowing that was assessed.
You're getting, if you move it to May, you're getting close to the first time the payment's got to be made. Looks like the city can
No,
come
it
up.
was in May. I wanted to move it until it would be in December or January when there was no mowing previous or 2 months after. You would have that dead time when there was no.
I don't want to sound cold or calculated, but the tax sale is for a purpose of trying to get money back because someone's not paying their taxes. Now, what's happened to a few people is a assessment's been added on right after the sale or right before the sale and not recorded. And I will tell you that I was at the tax sale, and you guys probably were too. Pat explained that to everybody there.
I didn't tell you last week.
I wouldn't change any date of anything pending like this next tax sale. I'm just saying that when we were going to start with a new group, if we could time it when there would be, maybe it would alleviate some of the.
Maybe February or January?
Yeah, in there where there, even December, because you wouldn't have probably any mowing in November, or, I don't care. It was just a topic I thought of bringing up because I did see on the Facebook, I believe it was Facebook, and they were talking about the city commission, and somebody said, well, I'll never buy anything at the tax sale.
Well,
I mean, it was a negative.
But this person who made that comment, it's not unusual for him to make comments.
Well, that's true, but there's a lot of people that read that, and if it hurts the tax sale, it's eventually hurting us or the taxpayers.
Well,
and I just thought if you could remove any of those obstacles, maybe it would be just something to look at.
Yeah, the timing of it's up to us. So
yeah,
I don't think we want to. I think we got the message out there. We want to keep on going.
yeah, that's the key.
I don't want to go too late. 3 years, 5 years, and have a sale.
Oh no, that's not. I'm just saying that maybe I don't know if we could accelerate the next one. This one that's ongoing, that's going to be done in May.
It's a big
We can't.
one, too.
Yeah, it's a big one, but I don't know if we could accelerate it like 2 months or a month, and then the one after that we could accelerate it so we would eventually get it moved into that. I wouldn't wait a year and a half before a sale. That's not my intention.
Yeah. So somebody comes here and they buy a piece of property for $35. It's a lot, and this is what happened basically. Then they get assessed $200 or $300 for mowing they didn't expect. So at the end of the day, they pay $235 for a lot they want.
I think
it cost me that much to take my family to Woolies sometimes.
900 to 1,000 more, I believe, on some of those.
There was some that was pretty. I think the girl that works over here had pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the only
And,
one. And I don't know if there was a lot of individuals that had that experience, but if that becomes public, that
And
just,
we could ask the city not to mow the lawns or
well, wait, no. I think
they
that
can mow them afterwards. And then
that might be something when they have our next city county meeting. We
That
can
might be a
talk
good
about
subject.
those things.
That's something we need to work together.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that Pat indicated there was anything major going on. So if you choose to, if you want to make a motion to adjourn, I'll hear it. Or do you want to wait?
we could recess.
Let's just. Yeah, he said he had a couple things. Now, how important they are, I don't know.
I would move to recess for 15 minutes while Pat gets done with his phone call.
I'll second that.
And
Okay, it's moved and seconded to adjourn for 15 minutes. So we'll be back at 3:26, 3:27.
good. Good take a vote.
Oh, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? To pass 3-0. Yes, I guess that's kind of important, didn't it? My mind was wondering.
Just say you're back from recess.
We're recording.
All right, we're back from recess. So, do we have any county council updates?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Get my note. We had talked earlier in the year, the end of last year, I think, about ASAF and the management fund, the management reserve fund. It does not appear to me from Michelle had an update on the finances. It doesn't look like the bank is putting more funds into the management operating reserve fund. And I think that, so there's a little over, I think there's 90,000, 89,000 was what was in there in November. And at 40,000 a year, that obviously would be, well, no, it's 50,000 a year, isn't it?
With both of them.
40 and 10. So we need, I guess I'm looking for some direction on if we need to be in touch with the trustee about interpreting the documents. But the way I read them, they're supposed to keep the management and operating reserve fund funded. And well, before we get into an issue, we need to address that. Yeah, I guess I'm surprised that if the funds had been going into that account correctly. Well, no, I don't think so. They've been putting something in there because looking at just the year-end totals from 2012, it was 337,000. 2013, 287. 14, 237. 15, 200. 16, 138. And we don't have year-end for 17, but in November it was 89. So it's getting some, I don't know if it's getting growth. I don't know whether they're putting some into it or not. But the way the documents read is that at the beginning they would have put $500,000 in there into, I think that may have been the very first thing that got funded was the management and operating reserve fund. And then it goes to the next payment that's due, and then it goes into which is a debt service fund, I think. And then it goes into a fund to pay them off early, essentially. And as I read it, the management and operating reserve fund is to be kept at the $500,000 level. That's obviously not the way that they've interpreted it.
Who's the trustee?
Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to look at that and get that taken care of as soon as possible. And then that was was it Baum that was in charge of those? When they refinanced that? They did on the refinancing, yes. They were the placing agent. Okay. So would they have a place in this too? I mean, because they indicated that the savings were going to be redirected to that account, so we could to do that. I didn't know where this was getting lost at. Whether that would be.
I thought they said we had an option to pay it off earlier or turn the money over to.
Well, to maintenance, and we all chose to extend the maintenance. So I just, whatever you feel where we need the next step, I think we need to address it. Well, I think you don't have to make a decision for the really, really long term. We'll have enough in there for 2018 for sure, but you're not deciding that you'll do that you'll pay that for the rest of the bonds.
So what's the expected payoff for the bonds?
26.
26.
2022.
The collection of sales taxes could be pretty good. It sounds like we have a chance for even increasing more.
Well, at the one meeting, the director says we'll sell it back to the rec for $1, and then somebody said no, we couldn't do it. But when we get it paid off, that's what we need to do.
They're not, by statute, they're authorized to accept donations. They're not authorized to
sell to them for $1. Not donating.
No, they are authorized for donations and not authorized to purchase real estate and stuff. I think that was what.
So you can say we could donate it to, versus selling it for $1.
Well, I have mixed feelings. We're paying for it and they're not promoting it. And then we're going to give it to them and they're not going to promote it.
Well, you don't have to give it to them either. There might be somebody else to give it to. The YMCA or something.
Yeah.
Sure. But we haven't heard much from them about any of this.
They ask for their payment and we wait till they want their next payment.
We also didn't get financials again this year.
Well, I thought you withheld the payments so you get the financials.
We withheld a payment the last time. To get the first one, we withheld payment, not.
Yeah.
I think,
I'm not sure that's the way it should operate, should it?
well,
They should bring it.
We make everybody else show financials, so
Yeah.
why shouldn't they?
The bonds mature April 1, 2026. So that's the anticipated payoff.
okay.
Is that based upon any accelerated payment we made?
Well, when we refinanced, we shaved 1 year off, I think.
But we, in lieu of that, one of the big issues was the maintenance because, where was the money? Money was ending, what, this year? Or was it 2018?
But they
It
think
was
that's
going
just
to end before we had it paid off.
No, it
And-
was next year. It was next year.
It was 2018 was when all the maintenance, so that was going to have to come from property tax or something else. So when we found that we could save on the bonds and on the refinancing, we redirected it there, so it would basically be covering itself.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
But evidently the funds are not being redirected as they were indicated they should have been.
I think it's more than funding the maintenance because you had mentioned to them that they could have drawn $12,000 or something because we was over the maintenance or something, if I recall right. So I think the bond saved us more than even the maintenance cost.
Oh, they did that. Yes, they did that. You're not obligated under the current agreements that you have with ASAF or with USD 377 to make a payment. You're authorized to make one for the maintenance, but you're not obligated under those agreements.
Well, I can't see anybody taking it on for not having a maintenance fund.
That means you're going to have to promote it. Well, that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're limited on the amount either. If the amount is higher than $50,000, I think you could pay it.
I would have, when we get towards the end, of course we won't be here, but towards the end of that, and it's going to be handed over or something, I would taper those payments off. If they can't be weaned off and make that go, I mean, how are they going to go cold turkey from a $40,000 a year contribution to running 100%, just cold turkey? I think it's going to be tough. That's my thoughts.
I think we have way too many organizations involved. We have the REC, and
ASAF.
ASFA or whatever, and the Y's been involved. We got way too many players in it.
And there probably ought to be some kind of consolidation.
Yes.
The AFCS or whatever, I always lose those letters, but they seem to only be a pass-through. And in reality, they're not even a pass-through because the check gets mailed directly to the Rec Commission.
Yes.
And the Rec Commission's only doing a weekday thing. They're not out there trying to promote for the community in regard to having tournaments and those type of things. And I don't know if there's anybody who would take on that challenge.
They don't have to worry about it because the maintenance fee is coming from us, and if it's not making no money and things are getting maintained, but they're not doing themselves no favor. They should be, like you said, planning ahead because there will be a day when the money's gone, and how are they going to support it?
I think the marriage between the facility at Effingham and the school is going to be a better arrangement in the long run because it will just eventually become theirs and they will do the maintenance. They will take care of everything. Now this one here, if we could give it away or sell it at the end of the term, I mean, but to who and are they going to maintain it? I mean, the YMCA kind of might. Do they?
Well,
do
they
things
have
outside of their.
409 might be interested in it too. I don't know.
Well, 4, I mean, I'm sorry, I think the Y might be more interested in regard as if they think they can drive some revenue for themselves. Because they're not going to make it just living off the memberships. They're going to make some money on some of these events and these things they offer, and everybody would expect them to. So I don't think there's a profit motive at the Rec Commission because they're funded by mills.
Yeah. There was also a suggestion during one of those meetings that at the end of that term, when the ball fields are paid off, that we don't necessarily have to sunset that tax, and we should build a swimming pool or something out there and keep that going, which was ludicrous to me. I mean, we've already got, there's a swimming pool and, well, there's two. There's the Y and there's the Lions pool, but why we, that would be the whim of the commission. If the commission at that time wants to do that, I guess they've got that right. But to not sunset that at its natural due date, to me, is making a big overstep of our.
Well, the city of Atchison still collecting the 1% for the fire truck that they sold for $3,000. So they never sunsetted that.
I think that's where, if we do any sales tax issues there, we need to make sure that they're either dedicated or there's a sunset, and there's not that way there's a finite.
But if it doesn't sunset the 0.25%, does it have to go to the recreation? It's going to go back into the county operating budgets, like the cities does.
Well, that's a dedicated one, so it would have to. Right. Yes, it's dedicated.
Okay.
And that's where the one for the solid waste and that is not, and that's the reason it can be passed around.
So the fire truck wasn't dedicated.
It must not have been. That was a city issue.
Before. Not on the SAF. The township meeting, we probably ought to get something scheduled. I don't know if there's been discussion about that.
I thought Seth was going to set that up.
We have 3 townships that have given Roger information about minimum maintenance roads, and there's a procedure to have a public hearing. You have to publish the description of those, and we're ready to do that, or we could wait until the next meeting, the next township meeting, whichever you want to do.
I would go ahead and make some progress on it because that's been quite a while ago, and if the township should say, well, we talked about that a year ago and there's been nothing moved on it, it's too slow. I think it would show that there's some progress, and they might be more willing to take on new ideas and things there if there's progress being made on what we talked about last time.
Do you want to put that on the agenda for next week? You'll have to adopt a resolution to set the public hearing, so I'll have a resolution for you.
Okay. You might get in touch with Seth, possibly. I don't know if he's got anybody that would need to be involved with that or be at the hearing, or since he's kind of been talking to the townships is the only thing that
Well, the public,
where I was going.
You have to adopt a resolution to set the public hearing, and then you'll have the public hearing.
So we have to set or does the township have to set?
We do. Okay. This is not for the township meeting. This is for you to determine that certain roads are sparsely used and whatnot, so that they could be declared to be minimum maintenance roads. So, and then after the public hearing, then you would presumably vote on whether or not to declare these roads to be minimum maintenance roads.
It looks like those suggestions should come from the township to us, and then we just kind of sign off on the township's suggestion.
That's what we did.
Okay.
So Roger made a map of each township and gave it to them, and with color coding of the roads that we thought were their roads, and they went back to Roger with drawings of which roads they thought should be minimum maintenance roads. And so it's only in 3 townships.
Only 3 chose to participate, correct?
Yeah, I think it's Grasshopper, Benton, and
Not bad.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Do we need to do anything with BC and their bonds and let them come to us?
I couldn't remember whether we talked about that. I talked with Ron there. Well, I did talk with him, and then I also talked with Tracy Shafton, who was the primary attorney that we had always dealt with. And she told me that Benedictine was sort of wanting to wait it out and see whether it was necessary to try to do something. And that's consistent with what she told me before the last meeting. And it's I think about a $2 million difference to them on whether or not it's if there's a change in the tax code, and that they thought even if there was a change in the tax code, it would still be beneficial for them to do the new bond issue. But they wanted to wait until they knew what the situation was going to be before they tried to hurry one along to do it this year.
Refresh my memory. We've approved them to do the bonds for next year.
You've indicated your intent that you likely would.
I think we need to have a policy of how much we charge for that service.
Okay.
Now, it may not be for these bonds. We've already told them all right.
You can't add
But,
that to the from now on.
I just think that there ought to be some and I don't know what the city charges.
10%.
I think it's 0.5%.
Yeah.
I would match the city.
Yes.
They had the same policies as the city. And,
We let her go a quarter over, then they go to the city and get financing.
That might be better, or maybe a point over.
Well, it may be moot if the
It
law
didn't
changes,
it
there
didn't
may not
bother
be
me.
anymore.
It didn't bother me if they wanted to move it up this year, but it did bother me they just assumed to add them extra millions in there and have the papers and wanted to sign it that day. That did bother me.
well, their credit cards are running pretty fast. I mean,
I think there may have been some miscommunication.
Yeah, because what you were
within their
saying that
office.
lady told you and what she was saying was totally opposite.
well, she didn't. It didn't match. That's true.
Yeah, and I think it turns out that they were wanting to wait, but it may not have gotten communicated to everybody. So,
Well, they say the tax bill's going to pass by Christmas. So I don't know if you individually look, if you went back, there's a formula that you can put in your stuff from last year, House version and Senate version.
So where's that at? I mean,
I can't remember the name of Patsy's actually one told me about it, but I don't remember what it is.
only one of those versions has the municipality.
No, I realize that isn't in there, but I'm talking about for personal. It was amazing that the House version was about 12% less than the Senate version for me, for my personal.
This is kind of off the subject, but this time of year is kind of giving. What do you guys think about having a challenge for a food drive for the employees, and whichever department, according to how many employees they have, they get a pizza party or something?
I think it's a great idea, but I think we're late.
Well, I know that now this year, but
I think anything we could do to create goodwill in the communities. And
yeah, I should have brought that up a couple weeks ago when I first thought of it.
keep that in mind for next year.
Lastly, today is a Carrot board meeting, and you need to, I think, officially. Eric signed appointing Michelle as the new alternate because Michelle is at the meeting, but I think
Michelle's at first, and we didn't decide it ultimately.
Well, I think for this year it was the opposite. She was just named the new
Alternate.
The new alternate.
That's it.
You'll need to address that. And I think it sounded like Carrot did want something official in the minutes that it had been approved.
So do we need to officially vote on it? now?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just to confirm.
So she would be the alternate.
To confirm her appointment that Eric had already made.
We moved Jamie to first from alternate,
Okay.
and Jamie took Pat's place, and Michelle took Jamie's place.
I'd make a motion in regard to Carrot that Jamie be the first person, and that Michelle would be the second.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's 3-0.
And I think that's all I have.
Okay. If there's no further,
I move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. We are adjourned.
Well, we've got later today than we've gone in
Mm-hmm.
since budget time.